So, what happens when a city's government just stops working? Not with some big dramatic explosion, but with the quiet, frustrating hum of total gridlock. Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating case study from Sri Lanka, where the letter of the law smacks right into the wall of raw political power. Here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll see what happens when a budget gets defeated. Then, we'll look at the law's quirky little second chance rule. After that, we'll get into the messy political deadlock that follows. And finally, we'll uncover how this whole thing usually ends. Because really, that's the big question here, isn't it? This isn't just about spreadsheets and numbers. It's about what happens when your very authority to govern gets challenged, even when the law says you're supposed to be in charge. Okay, so it all kicks off with a single vote. A city council's budget for the year gets shot down. And this one event, this one vote, sets off a political chain reaction that is way more interesting than you might think. Now, you'd probably think, okay, budget fails, the mayor's out, right? Game over. But nope. In Sri Lankan local government, it's a completely different ballgame. At the national level, yeah, a budget defeat can bring down the entire government. But down at the city level, it just opens a door to a special procedure. It's kind of like a do-over. And this second chance is a very specific legal safety net. It's often just called the 2-week rule, and it's designed to stop the whole city from grinding to a halt overnight. The process is actually super clear. First, boom, the budget gets defeated. The mayor then has to resubmit it, they can tweak it, or just send it back as is. Then the council gets exactly 2 weeks to vote on it again. And here's the twist. What happens next depends entirely on how long that council has been in office. So check this out. If it's the new council, one that's been in power for less than 2 years, and a budget fails a second time, the law just says, it's deemed passed. It's like a legal get-out-of-jail-free card for the mayor. But if it's a more established council, that same exact vote means the mayor is considered to have resigned. They're out. So if you're that new mayor, this deemed passed rule feels like a magic trick. The budget is legally adopted, the city has its funding, everything's fine now. Problem solved, right? Well, this brings us to the absolute core of our story. The huge, gaping chasm between having legal power on paper and having any real power to actually get things done. Yeah, not quite. This is the exact moment the legal rulebook gets tossed right out the window, and a messy political street fight begins. To really get this, you have to meet the most important person in this whole story, who isn't a politician. The municipal commissioner. This person is a career civil servant. They're the gatekeeper of the city's bank account. And crucially, if any money is spent improperly, they are personally liable. It's their neck on the line. So even with a legally passed budget, the opposition still holds all the cards. They control the committees that approve projects, they can delay tenders, they can block the movement of funds, and all this chaos makes that municipal commissioner, the one who's personally on the hook, really, really nervous. They're not going to sign off on any new spending. And here's what that looks like on the ground. The city doesn't just shut down. The essential stuff, paying salaries, buying fuel for garbage trucks, that continues because it's legally protected. But any new development, building a new road, fixing up a park, a new community center, forget about it. It grinds to a complete and total halt. The money is there on paper, but it's frozen in reality. This is probably the best way to think about it. The mayor has the key to the car, that's the deemed passed budget. But the opposition controls the ignition, the steering wheel, and the gas pedal. The mayor has the legal right to drive, but they are going absolutely nowhere. So with the city just paralyzed and stuck in neutral, this situation obviously can't last forever. And it doesn't. This is where the final, decisive political moves come into play to break this stalemate for good. The opposition, having now proven that the mayor can't actually run the city, moves in for the knockout punch. They use that budget defeat as their main piece of evidence for their ultimate weapon, a no-confidence motion. And this is a whole different beast. This isn't about money anymore. This is personal. It's a direct attack on the mayor's fitness to even hold the job. And here is the absolute key difference. A budget defeat has all those weird loopholes and second chances we talked about. A no-confidence motion? Nope. There are no do-overs. There are no loopholes. A simple majority votes yes, and the mayor is out, fired, instantly. And what if the chaos just continues? Let's say the council fires the mayor, but is so divided they can't even elect a new one. Well, there's one last drastic step. An even higher power, the provincial governor, can step in and hit the big red button, their nuclear option. They can dissolve the entire elected council and appoint one person, a special commissioner, to run the whole city all by themselves until the next election. Which leaves us with this final thought, right? This whole process is this incredible tug of war between what the law allows and what politics actually makes possible. And it forces us to ask, in the end, which one is more powerful? The letter of the law that gives you the right to govern, or the political will of a majority that is absolutely determined to stop you?